Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into software project management. You know, the invisible force that decides whether a brilliant tech idea actually takes off or just becomes another really expensive failure.
So, why does this matter so much? Well, because without it, you run headfirst into a massive, costly problem that hits industries all across the board.
All right, get this number in your head. 43%. A huge US study found that's how many tech projects go completely over budget. And if you think that's bad, the real kicker is that a whopping 82% of them are delivered late. We're not just talking about a minor delay here. This adds up to billions and billions of wasted dollars.
And here's where it really hits home. When a big government tech project goes south, that's real money that can't be spent on things like hospitals or schools. When a business project fails, it can cost people their jobs. This is exactly why software project management, or SPM, is so critical. It gives us a playbook for getting it right. Okay, so what is it we're actually trying to manage? A project isn't just another task on the to-do list. The two things you have to remember are, it's temporary, it has a clear beginning and end, and its goal is to create something totally unique. It's not a routine job you just do over and over again.
I love thinking about it this way, on a spectrum. So, on one end, you have your day-to-day jobs, which are super predictable. On the total opposite end, you have pure exploration, like, say, finding a cure for cancer, where you have no idea what the outcome will be. Projects, they live right in that messy, interesting middle, with just enough certainty to have a plan, but enough uncertainty that you really need someone to manage it.
And the person who has to navigate that tricky middle ground, well, that is, of course, the project manager.
You should really think of the project manager as the captain of a ship. It's their job to plan the whole voyage from start to finish, organize all the supplies, and staff the right crew. But their job is far from over once the ship leaves the port. They have to constantly monitor the weather, control the ship to keep it on course, innovate when a surprise storm hits, and represent the entire project to the people who funded the voyage. It's a huge job.
But here's the thing. Great management isn't just a checklist you go down. It's a cycle, a constant feedback loop. You set your goals, you collect data on how you're doing, you turn that data into useful information, you make decisions, and then you act on them, and then you do it all over again, constantly steering the project closer to its destination. So a manager needs a strategy. And in a software world, it really boils down to two main approaches. Think of it as the difference between having a super detailed, unchangeable blueprint or a responsive, real-time GPS. The blueprint way of doing things is traditional management, which you'll often hear called the waterfall model. It's totally linear. You have to finish step 1 before you can even think about starting step 2. It's rigid, and making changes is a nightmare. The GPS approach, on the other hand, is what we call modern or agile management. It's all about being flexible, working in short cycles, and constantly getting feedback from the customer to adjust the route. So if you're building something where you know exactly what's needed upfront, maybe traditional works. But for something like an online store, no way. New payment methods pop up, your competitors add a cool new feature, customer tastes change. In that world, being flexible like a GPS isn't just better, it's the only way you're going to survive. But wait, before we even pick a management style, before we write a single line of code, every project on Earth has to answer the most important question of them all. Seriously, think about it. Every organization has a limited amount of time, money, and people. So why should they invest all of those precious resources into your idea instead of someone else's? How do you actually justify it? You do it with something called a business case. This is basically the project's official pitch. It's a formal document that lays out the entire argument for why this project needs to exist, and it gives leaders everything they need to make that final go or no-go call. A really strong business case has to cover all these bases. You have to clearly state the problem you're solving and what your solution is. Then, and this is the crucial part, you have to weigh the good stuff, like boosting sales, against the costs and the risks. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one simple question. Is the return going to be worth the investment? Okay, the business case is approved. We got the green light.
Now the real planning can start. How does a manager actually map out all the tiny steps in a really complex process? Well, one of the best tools for the job is the activity diagram.
Now, at its heart, this is a pretty simple concept. Just think of it like a super-powered flowchart. You've got a clear starting point, a bunch of actions in the middle, and a clear finish line. The arrows just show you how you get from one step to the next. It's all about visualizing the entire workflow. Now, let's look at one in action for our online bookstore. I know, it might seem a little intimidating at first, but the secret is to look at the vertical lanes. We call them swim lanes. Each lane shows you exactly who is responsible for what. You've got the customer over on the left, and then the different internal departments working together.
So let's follow the journey. It all kicks off when the customer visits the website. That action starts a whole chain of events in the order department. Now, check out step 3. See that thick horizontal bar? That's a neat trick. It means the item check and the credit check are happening in parallel at the same time to speed things up. From there, the process flows from department to department until finally the customer gets their book. This kind of visual map is absolutely priceless for getting the whole team on the same page. So, we've seen the whole thing: the high-stakes problem, the manager as the captain of the ship, the choice between a rigid blueprint and an adaptive GPS, and even the detailed maps for the journey. Every piece is critical. But in a world where technology and customer needs are constantly shifting, it all leads me to one final question for you. What do you think is the single most essential quality for a modern project manager to truly succeed?